Fear not, citizen. Justice will be served. You're in good hands.
The defense is wrong.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Hello. You can handle the truth. Yeah. So, welcome everybody. Hey Cole, it's good to see you. Semi. Let's see who else. We've got Mark and Tiger Lily. Awesome, awesome. So today is the day that we've all been waiting for. Oh my God, that's so bright. Shanda's on the stand. I'm excited. Hey Tracy, good to see you. Vic, good to see you. Getting all the hellos in. Hi, hi, hi. Oh my goodness. I finished, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the FLDS, that whole world. And if you are, no shade, to each their own. But I've watched all of, the Keep Sweet documentaries on Netflix, and I just finished the one that they put out. No problem, Vic. The one that they put out called Trust Me, the False Prophet. Hi, Christina. Good to see you. And oh my God, it's so good. It's what's her name? Christine Marie, I believe her name is. So basically, it's Samuel Bateman. I think it's Sam Bateman. So basically, after I'm sorry, like brain fog. Basically, after Jeff Warrens is arrested and all that stuff. Hey Chris, good to see you. And is put in prison. He's actually in a Texas prison. This guy, Sam Bateman, thinks that he's the new prophet. And all this stuff happens, and he basically gets the trust of this woman, and she comes in and she starts documenting everything because she wants to take him down. Because why? He's a pedophile. Of course he is. It's the reason Jeff Warrens is in prison, and surprisingly enough, he has a very strong hold on that community still. He got life plus 20 years, and it's crazy to me that they still really believe in him. But it's a really good 4-part documentary, like little docu-series. Hey Kel, good to see you. If you guys want to watch it, I'm actually rewatching the Keep Sweet documentary, just because now I'm on that whole thing. But today, thank you. Hi, Tracy. Oh, you were saying hi to Vic, not me. I read that wrong. I was like, I thought I already said hi to you. Has anyone else have been having problems with their chat box? Like if you're on your phone, Sleuthy, check your Discord. Okay, I did see the case that you sent me, Chris, and I replied. So if that's what that is, I did reply. If you responded to that, I've got to look at it again. If you're on your phone on YouTube and you're like in a live trying to chat, Are you guys having problems with the chat box being like all the way at the bottom and you can't like get to it because your stuff's in the way? I sent you something. Okay, cool. I'll check it out. Because mine is looking funky and I have to like turn it sideways every time and it's getting on my nerves. Anyways, that meh. That's all. Whew. That's it. I'm done ranting. Hi, everyone. So, Shanda's on the stand today. I've got roughly 2 hours worth of material today. So, grab some snacks, a drink, get comfy. If you can't stay for the whole thing, that's cool. Watch it on replay. But I do suggest you might want to come, if you can't stay, at least come back towards the end because her little fake dry heave moment is at the very end of today's little section. It does look different, Cal. You can't get to it, right? You can't type? It's regarding an RSO from Kansas. So okay. All right, I'll look at it. Yeah, those are the worst. They shouldn't be released, yet they always are. And they're like, oh, well, we'll make you sign a paper saying that, you're an offender, and we'll make you go knock on some doors, and you guys stay away from the children, and don't get on devices, and you guys gonna really trust that? Please. Yours looks normal. I have an Android. I don't know if it's like Androids or what whatever's going on, but it's getting on my nerves. So we're just gonna get straight into it because it's long. So if you guys are ready, never mind, mine's the same. So I guess it's just me. I've updated my phone. I've done everything. I don't know what the heck is going on, but it's really freaking annoying because I have to mod and I am on my phone 99.9% of the time. Like I have a gaming laptop, so it's really clunky. So I don't really like carrying it around with me. iPhone, Chris, yeah. So yeah. Get your snacks. Can I be super brat? Ask you, have you turned it back on? That reminds me of the IT crowd. Yeah, I used to work for Apple and I've always been like, have you tried turning it off and on again? If you've ever seen the IT crowd. It's funny. All right, let's get into this, guys. We're just gonna get into it. So actually, let's do this first, as always, because this is about Timothy.
All right, Mr. Johnson, you can call your first witness.
Your Honor, the defense calls Shanda Vander Ark.
All right, Ms. Vander Ark.
Can you guys hear that? Let me know if you can hear it. Hey, Gucci, good to see you. Good to see you. We are just starting, and this is the case that you get sensitive with, but I'm glad you're here. Good to see you. So this is going to be her defense attorney. Obviously, we're going to start with her. Delete your YouTube app, restart phone, download. Okay. Yeah, I'll try that. All right. So this is going to be her defense attorney. She's going to be on the stand and yep.
If you can come around here, please.
Stand in front of that chair. Raise your right hand, please.
Raise your right hand, please. In this matter now pending, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, yes,
All right, you can put your hand down, grab a seat. Please state your name for the record, spelling your first name and last name.
Shanda, S-H-A-N-D-A, Vander Ark, V-A-N-D-E-R, space, capital A-R-K.
Thank you, Ms. Vander Ark. You're being called to testify.
I'm already mad, y'all. I'm already mad looking at her ugly ass face. And I don't know who she's fooling with those braids. There ain't nothing innocent about this bitch. Sorry, not sorry.
In your own cases. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And to do that, you have to make sure that everyone can understand you, correct?
Yes, sir.
With you, and knowing as I do, I don't think volume's going to be a problem with you.
Probably not, sir.
Talking fast, maybe.
Yes, sir, it might.
Okay, so this is, are you nervous?
Yes, sir.
This is stressful?
Yes, sir, very.
So you're going to be, questions going to be thrown at you, fast and furious. You've seen how trials work, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And under those circumstances, you may speed up again as I do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You may be reminded from time to time to slow down just a little bit. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, let's make sure everyone understands you. You've been sitting through this trial since the beginning, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were arrested for these offenses alleged back when?
July 7th of 2022.
Okay. So you've been living with this thing for more than, what, 18 months?
17 months, yes, sir.
17 months. So you know what we're talking about, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you understand the allegations against you?
Yes, sir.
And that it also helps that you have a legal background, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The things they said about how well you did in school and all those
She's got like puffy blubber mouth.
things, were those all true?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't want you sitting there and regaling this, but the things about cum laude and going to law school, all that stuff is true.
It was magna cum laude, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let's go back to the very beginning. When did Timothy come to your care?
May of 2021.
Prior to that, who had physical and legal custody of Timothy?
My ex-husband.
Okay. And when he sent, and how did it happen that you ended up with custody then?
My ex reached out to me, stating that Timothy he could no longer handle him, that he was pushing his buttons, and that he needed to send him to live with me.
Okay. And you agreed to that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Had you ever lived with Timothy during his...
When he was younger, yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So you agreed to accept him into your home?
Yes, sir.
And who was living in your home at the time?
Myself, my husband, Adam, Paul Ferguson, and then my little man, G.
G. Okay, that's what we've been calling G, correct?
It's really hard to do, yes, sir.
Okay, just do the best you can.
Oh, she seems really excited and proud of her little man. Like she loves him to bits and pieces. But what about Paul? Or I'm sorry, Timothy. What about Timothy? She didn't care about him. She wasn't proud of him. Like.
Okay, so they're all living in your home, and then Timothy joins you, correct?
Yes, sir.
When Timothy's joining you, did your ex-husband ever make any effort to transfer legal custody to you?
We discussed it, but he never did actually sign anything, no, sir.
Okay. And without legal custody, how do you get Timothy into school?
You can't.
And without legal custody, how do you get medical treatment for Timothy?
You can't.
Did your husband at least send I assume he had medical insurance for Timothy. Did he send that?
He did not send me. I requested his medical card, his insurance card, and he never sent it to me.
Now, you heard the testimony that Timothy saw the doctor in 2019. Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
That was a year before you received it?
2 years before I received it.
2 years before. So in the prior 2 years before you received,
Yep, I sure was muted. Man, I'm usually pretty good about not doing that. I said, "Hi, Dan." And then I said, "She's deeply troubled and evil, an evil entity, yes." And then I read Chris's comment saying she looks pretty, but I wonder what's in her heart. And I said, probably nothing. It's probably pretty black. Hi, Frank Meister. Good to see you. Yes, yes. All right.
them, as far as you know, based on what you heard here, your ex-husband never took him to the doctor?
As far as I know, yes, sir.
How do you know if he had medical insurance for this young man?
He told me he did.
Okay. But he never sent it to you?
No, sir.
Okay. What was your financial situation once Timothy arrived and your husband had a stroke?
After the stroke, we lost my husband's income, and it was paycheck to pay, not even paycheck to paycheck. Almost everything was paid late. I was struggling. I asked Paul for help with groceries sometimes because we were struggling.
Okay. And Paul was working full-time?
He was working part-time.
He's working at Applebee's?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So he's working part-time, and so were you receiving any child support?
No.
So the entire financial burden was on you?
Correct.
Could you have afforded daycare for any of your children?
Absolutely not, no.
And could you have afforded any extra expenses other than the ones that you were providing for?
No.
What type of expenses were you able to provide for this family?
Just basic living expenses.
Rent?
Yes, sir.
Utilities?
Yes, sir.
Stop looking at the jury. They don't care. They've seen a lot of shit already, Shanda. Your little eyes looking over there is not doing anything for you. This shit's getting on my nerves already.
Food?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that leads to the next question I have for you. You had monitors
Right.
and cameras in your home, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the impression from the testimony I heard is that it was for the sole purpose of ensuring that Timothy could not get the food. Is that accurate?
No.
Why did you have all those monitors and cameras in your home?
When Timothy came to live with us, his stepmother informed me that they had motion sensors. They weren't as tech savvy as I was. I worked in tech, before law school, I worked in tech support for several years. But they had motion sensors and she told me that she didn't sleep at night. She only slept when he was at school because he was into everything. And so because my younger child, he used to, when he was about 2, he would take all his clothes off. So we started putting a camera in his room. And then once we moved to the Marshall Road location, it was bi-level. My husband was born with a disability. My husband was wheelchair bound. So we had an extra wheelchair that we kept on the upper level. That's where the master bedroom was. But that way, if little man, if G was down in his bedroom, my husband could talk to him through the camera and have him come up. It was much easier. My husband could crawl down the steps before the stroke, but we didn't want him to have to crawl up and down those steps.
Okay. And again, let's go back to the issue of food. Was food the only reason why you felt you had to monitor Timothy, or were there other issues?
There were plenty of issues, sir.
Okay, so I put the poll back up. I think how you do this is you have to put a 1, 2, or 3, whatever option you want to pick in the chat. I think no one did this last time I did it because y'all didn't know how, maybe. But I saw the other day that that's what you have to do. So now, after everything that you've seen so far that I've shown you guys, what are you guys thinking? So I'm going to leave this up, and I might do another one at the end after you guys hear what she says.
Well, first of all, we've heard some testimony as to Timothy's special needs. What were his special needs?
He was on the autism spectrum, but he was completely verbal, and he was grade level in school. He was not behind in school at all. He was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. He was diagnosed as bipolar and sensory processing disorder. I heard Paul mention physical disability. He didn't have any. Now, Timothy, when he first got there, said he had a physical disability, and I asked his stepmom about it to make sure, and she said no, he was not coordinated at all. The first summer that he lived with us, my youngest was playing baseball, and Timothy actually mentioned, because we had planned to put him in public high school, I'm going to try out for the baseball team, and I didn't say anything to him, but I remember thinking, sorry, sweetie, there's no way, you don't have the coordination for that.
All right. And he liked to take, well, you tell me, did he like to take things apart?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Can you give some examples?
He took batteries apart, he took toys apart, my youngest son's toys. If he could get a hold of anything from Paul's room, he would take, like, mostly it was Legos. Paul still had Legos. He, at one point, messed with our water heater.
What do you mean?
He actually turned the gas off to the water heater. He knocked out the pilot light and then turned the gas off as well at different points.
Okay. Did you have any concerns as to whether or not his predilections, his desire to get into things might be a safety hazard for either him or somebody else in the home?
I was extremely concerned about that, yes, sir.
So it was your desire to, was it just your desire to monitor Timothy, or did you also have a younger child in the home that you wanted to monitor?
We had both.
Okay. Was it, well, who did you want to monitor? One or the other, or both?
Both.
Okay. All right. So you set up these video and audio cameras, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And alarms on the doors?
Those didn't get installed until about 3 weeks before he passed away.
Okay. And motion sensors?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He got around the motion sensors multiple times.
Were you able to stay home and personally monitor your children?
No, I had to work full time.
Okay. How were you able to get, specifically, were you able to get Timothy into school?
No, we were not. We tried to enroll him in Mona Shores High School, and Mona Shores told me that my ex, I guess Timothy had damaged a Chromebook in Oklahoma, and because my ex owed money on that, they would not send his records up to us. So we were not able to enroll him. So I found online homeschool curriculum that I had to monitor, but I enrolled him in that.
Let me make sure I understand. Was it your original intention to put Timothy into public schools?
Yes, sir. We started the process. I filled out the paperwork. Because of my work schedule, I couldn't actually take paperwork to Mona Shores. My husband did that. Adam did that. But yes, we did try to get him enrolled.
Okay. And the youngest child, G, was he in public schools?
No, he was homeschooled.
What about Paul? Do you know if he was homeschooled, or if when he got to you, was he still in school?
No, he had graduated high school.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now, you mentioned that you weren't able to stay at home and care for your children at home, in the home, as a stay-home parent. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what type of? I assume you're out working.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Explain to the jury the work that you.
What I miss? Which part did I miss? Ew. She said, ew. Is this his sister? No, this is the mother. This is Shanda. Yeah. Hey, Dan, sorry I missed saying hi. Sure. You were so ignoring him. We know. It might be because you pinned the message. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. She looks really... y'all are really complimenting this lady. I don't know. I don't know, because I want to keep the one that I have pinned, but let me see. I'm going to let this play while I figure it out.
Did during the period of time that Timothy arrived in your home?
when he first arrived, I was still studying for the bar exam, so my husband was working full-time, and I was just doing, I trained dogs on the side, everything from basic obedience up through different types of service dogs for other people. And so I had a couple of dog training clients, but mostly I was studying for the bar exam. I also was an intern here in this courthouse.
That pay a lot of money?
Oh, it was not paid at all, sir.
Okay.
But it was the week of the bar exam. My judge that I worked for here as a law clerk informed me of this position that was open in Nuevo County, and she knew that the judge referred me, and that's when I did the interview, and I started work, I think it was 2 days after I completed the bar exam.
Okay. Was that a paid position?
Yes, it was.
Was it lucrative enough where you didn't have to do any other work?
Well, with my husband's income, it was.
Okay. But your husband's income stopped when he got sick?
When he had the stroke, yes.
Okay. So at that point, was it enough income to provide for you and your family?
No.
Were you receiving any other outside income?
My older brother lives in the home that I still own in Oklahoma.
Nope, I totally get it. I get it. Please stand right in front of the camera. Right. The braid. Oh, absolutely. I know. That's what I said. The braids are trying to make her look young and innocent. I don't know. It ain't fooling nobody. You know what? If I take this off, the pole will come back up. So I can't pin it, but just hit 1, 2, or 3. So I think it's heck no, yes, and not sure.
And he paid rent to us.
Okay.
But it wasn't a lot. That went towards our house rent.
Child support?
No. My ex, one of the siblings was forgotten yesterday. There's 5 total. We talked about the 4 boys. I also have a daughter. She is now 19, but she stayed down with her dad.
Okay.
Good to see you, Josh.
So we each had one, so there was no child support. And because of child support on the other 4 kids, I actually was still paying my ex child support. It was still being deducted from my check.
Okay. So you had that's another deduction from your income?
$1,000 a month, yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, were you also doing tutoring when you went to the judge who was paying you? Were you still tutoring or doing any other outside work?
Not at that. I was doing the dog training.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What time in the morning did you leave to go to work?
I usually left the house about 6:30.
And what time, on average, were you getting home?
About 6 o'clock.
Okay. So we're talking about 12 hours away from the home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Those monitors, the video cameras in your home, you were able to view them while at work?
From my phone, occasionally, yes, sir.
Okay.
Get my bullshit button ready.
But you were still working?
Yes, sir. I didn't view them at all until after the stroke. I mean, because my husband was there, or we had arrangements where my husband was off certain days of the week. Paul was off one day, specifically 1 day a week, so he took care of Gabriel and Timothy. And then the other 2 days that I needed care for Gabriel when my husband was working, he actually went to my in-laws' house down in West Olive.
May I approach the witness for just a moment, John? You may. Let's see.
Stop looking at the jury. She really thinks she's slick. Look at her. She thinks she's slick. Like she getting one over on somebody, girl.
You have 3 children at home.
I need some water.
Okay. And my understanding is you faced other challenges personally in terms of your own personal health.
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. For instance, let's run down the list. You have insomnia.
Severe insomnia caused by attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Yes.
Okay. And for those folks who get a great night's sleep every night, don't understand what insomnia does to your ability to function, can you explain to them what impact chronic insomnia has on a person?
It limits your ability to think clearly. Your energy level is greatly reduced. Takes a lot longer to process things. You forget things easier. It was much harder to function with so little sleep.
Okay. And you talked about your other your other
She's
personal
got like
disorders?
those demon
You receiving
eyebrows.
medications for those?
I was for, I have severe attention deficit hyperactivity disorder combined type. I also have sensory processing disorder and OCD. And then after my husband's stroke, as a result of my husband's stroke, because I viewed him, I wasn't.
And Nikki, not only that, but still to this day, she blames everything that happened to Timothy on Timothy. Like, it's absolutely delusional.
In the room when he had the stroke, but I was there right afterwards. And so I developed post-traumatic stress disorder with disassociation from that. The only medication that I was on was for the ADHD.
Okay. And you had the service dogs in your presence too?
I had one service dog for me, yes.
Okay. What sorts of interventions were available for Timothy's disorders?
When he came to us, he was on medication. They gave us a whole, like, large gallon-sized Ziploc bag of medications for him. I could not refill them because I could not get him to the doctor. We were going to try to adjust his medication because when he came to live with us, when he took his medicine, he was a zombie. It was just horrific. And when Paul came to live with us, because Paul had only been there a year when Timothy moved up,
Mm-hmm.
and when he was on the same big bag of medication, and there were serious concerns that they just, instead of handling, especially my ex, he wanted to medicate them, but I never got that option because I couldn't take him to the doctor.
Okay. All right.
Y'all, I had to go get a support punching panda because I can't. I'm wanting to punch stuff over here. Ugh. She is the absolute worst. I saw something. Narcissist. Yeah, she's an absolute narcissist.
There's been some there's been some implications, put it that way, that you tried to keep people from seeing Timothy, that you tried to keep him away from public view, that he didn't go to school, he didn't go to the doctor, etc. That he went outside, he was in the backyard. You remember that testimony?
Yes, sir.
If someone's outside in your backyard, are there trees or fences or other obstacles to keep the neighbors from looking over there and seeing who's out in your yard?
No, there was a clearing before. There was woods at the back of the lot, but there was a clearing, and at least the neighbors on each side, there were pretty sizable windows on the back of their homes.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't in I think the next door was a 2-level, but the one on one side was just a single level. It may have had a basement, I don't know. But there was big windows, and they could see into our backyard easily.
Okay. Was it ever your intention to keep people from seeing Timothy?
No, my mother-in-law saw him. They do rental.
Y'all.
Detector test determined that was a lie.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Home inspections, I guess the city of Norton Shores. Mm-hmm. I don't remember if it was late April or early May of 2022, but it was in that neighborhood. And so we'd had the inspection that day, and my mother-in-law happened to stop by that day. And I invited her in. We sat and talked, and Timothy wanted to come say hi, so he came up and said hi to her.
Okay. Now, you're a Muskegon County transplant, correct?
Yes, I'm not from around here.
So, and I'm assuming that your direct biological family, there's not a lot of them in this county?
There's no, I don't have, other than my children, I don't have any biological family here.
Okay. How far away are they?
My older brother is in Oklahoma City, and then I have 2 sisters that I have not talked to in over 20 years, and they live in Alabama, where I'm from.
Okay. So how often do those folks, your bio family, stop by and to see how sister's doing?
The last time I saw my older brother was when we went down to North Carolina for my oldest son's wedding in October of 2021, and then my brother and sister-in-law drove over from Oklahoma for the wedding as well. We FaceTimed a lot. We watched football games on FaceTime, but I didn't get to see them after we moved up here.
Okay. Do you have a lot of friends in the area that will come by, will stop by on maybe on just happen?
Ha! Cold busted. Cold's busted. Oh, shit. Dan, did you ask something? Oh, I thought I missed something. Is this a younger Mrs. Trunchbull? Right? Right? Oh, she's the worst. Um, you guys, I saw clips of her YouTube channel. Oh my God. Yeah, she doesn't have much of a fashion sense, so
In the area, that sort of thing, they'll come by and visit your home?
Most of my friends were from work, and they actually, because I worked in Newaygo County, they lived in Newaygo or Oceana County, or even further. I don't know, I'm not from here, I don't know what county is next to Newaygo East, but I know at least one person from work lived in, I think it's Big Rapids.
Yes.
So no, they didn't stop by because they were too far away.
Did you have a lot of time for social interactions at your home?
No, not at all.
And how about Paul? Did he have friends that he'd bring by, or?
No, he talked about people at work, but he never asked to bring anybody over.
Was he ever given any instructions, you can't have people in this house?
Absolutely not.
And what about the youngest child, G? Did he have any friends for sleepovers or anything like that?
We didn't have any friends over for it, no. He played baseball. Because of me not being able to get out, he didn't get out a lot. I mean, I wish I could have gotten him out more. That's why we put him in baseball, so he could get around other kids more. I had been looking into homeschool co-ops, but with my schedule, I just couldn't do that.
Okay. Which would you say was more impactful in terms of your, get to?
I feel offended that they gave her water because Timothy didn't get any water.
Timothy out of the house, was it your desire he not get out of the house, or your work requirements?
It was work requirements and his choice. There was, I want to say it was April, the weather was halfway decent. I guess people here were, there was kids down the street, there was teenagers playing basketball when I came home from the grocery store one weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped and rolled my window down and said, hey, I've got a 15-year-old at home. Can he come play with y'all? Even though I knew he wasn't coordinated, I knew he...
She's so full of shit. She's so full of shit. She hid that child. She did not try to get him to social. She did not try to get him to social interact with anybody. She hid that child in the basement, in a closet, away from the world. Like, ma'am, perjury, perjury.
I thought he would enjoy it. And they said, yeah, sure, absolutely. And he did not want to go play.
Okay. Did he ever request to go play, and you denied him?
No, he never did. Actually,
lie detector test determined that was a lie.
Paul, we had, mom and dad, my in-laws, got Timothy a bike for his 15th birthday. And Paul and we were on a cul-de-sac. And Paul had tried to teach him to ride the bike.
Okay.
I know they had a few sessions. I don't know how many.
Okay. So on those occasions, he'd be outside.
Oh yeah, he was out in front of the house on the cul-de-sac.
Okay. All right.
You know how I know she's full of shit? Because you see the pictures that I've shown you. Before all of this, he liked being outside. It seemed like he liked being outdoors, that he liked fishing, that, it seemed that he liked trains, Thomas the Train, when he was younger. So, it seems like he liked doing things outside. He might have liked basketball or some sports or something. I don't know. I can't say that for him for sure, but I think she's full of shit. And why does she look like the Joker right now? Look with those eyebrows and that mouth. Oh my word. What a demon.
Okay. Let's talk about some of the things that have come up in this case. There were leg irons discovered in your home. Were you aware of those?
I was aware that Paul had them. You actually could look on my Amazon. Paul had the option to do payment on the Amazon as well as mine. And Paul had actually ordered those under his account.
Okay. You did not order the leg irons?
I did not, no.
Did you ever use them?
No, sir. No, I never instructed.
Let's be in specific. Did you ever use them with Timothy?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you ever notice any bruising on Timothy's wrists or legs that might be attributable to the use of leg irons?
No, sir. I never saw anything like that.
Again with the lies, because she's the one that told him to do it. She's the one that, oh my God. I'm just telling y'all right now, this woman is just gonna sit up here and tell lies and lies and lies. So right now, today, and the next time, it's just gonna be lies. I think she's worse than Letitia. Letitia Stout.
You heard Paul?
So, Josh, he bought some ankle cuffs. So basically, it's almost like handcuffs, but the chain in between is just like a little bit longer than regular cuffs would be. And then they had zip ties, and then they had hot sauce, and then yeah, there were cameras all around the house, and then they had locks on the fridges and the cabinets and freezers and all that kind of stuff. Like it.
Talk about plastic ties. What was that about?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know why we would order. I mean, I saw the ties. I don't remember ordering them. I don't know what happened there.
You're going to say I don't remember a lot, aren't you?
Unfortunately, yes, because of the dissociation.
Okay. Explain to the jury what that means.
Well, I guess there's.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to catch Josh up. So yeah, she fed her son Timothy bread with hot sauce on it. She tortured her son she unalived him. Bread and hot sauce is all he got to eat. Ice baths, zip tied together. He slept in a small closet. They called it the small room, on a tarp. He was timed to go to the bathroom. Oh my gosh, you have to go back and look. It's so bad. This is probably one of the worst. Look at the face that she's making. I paused that perfectly. But this is probably one of the worst cases I've come across, other than Gabriel Fernandez.
Different forms. Somebody told me this. I did not find out about the PTSD and the disassociation until about 7 months after my husband's stroke, even though it had been going on since the stroke.
I need to place an objection on the record, and I think we're going to have to excuse the jury.
Okay. Please rise. We'll have to excuse you back to the jury room.
Yeah, Josh, this is an extremely rough case.
Record reflect the jury is now in the jury room secure. Go ahead, Mr. Roberts.
Well, first and foremost, Your Honor, she's not qualified to testify about what disassociation means and what disassociation, what affects disassociation. Anything that she knows about that presumably would have been told to her by a doctor. We've already been down the road. Mr. Johnson's, to my knowledge, has tried multiple doctors that would be able to provide a diagnosis of Ms. Vander Ark to indicate that she has, some type of disassociation or some type of mental disorder which would have contributed to this offense, and has not done so. That's an insanity defense. We covered that extensively. Mr. Johnson, I think, valiantly tried to get that and has been unable to provide any information to me from any medical doctor who's examined Ms. Vander Ark that she suffers from any of these diagnoses. So I'm objecting to this entire line of questioning about disassociation, about why she can't remember certain things. If she wants to say she just can't remember, I guess she can just say she can't remember, but she doesn't get to use the excuse that this is disassociation. Furthermore, I have a doctor still on standby as a potential rebuttal witness who did examine Ms. Vander Ark, as the report.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
From the Forensic Center, which Mr. Johnson has, which essentially debunks this entire disassociation myth that she doesn't remember things or chooses not to remember things because of some disassociation. So I'm objecting to this entire line of questioning. It's an inappropriate, essentially, defense that's being raised here. It sounds like it's almost like a diminished capacity type defense, which we all know is not a valid defense. And I'm not on notice of any insanity defense or any doctor would provide a diagnosis meaningful for the jury so they understand what these things actually mean.
All right, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, sir. Initially, let me tell you what it's not. It's not an insanity defense. It is, and certainly my client can testify as to what she knows. Now, if the people are at liberty to examine her as to what she knows and how she might know that, and determine that her sources of information aren't adequate or that her understanding is inadequate. But certainly I can ask her what she knows and how what she knows corresponds to what's going on with her physically and mentally. Those do not rise to insanity defense, and certainly if she says, I don't remember, she can explain why. If she were a drunk and she said, I can't remember because I was drunk that night, we would allow that in. If she says, I can't remember because it's this association thing, then that should be allowable. It doesn't rise to a legal defense. It doesn't arise to a argument of insanity. What it does is an explanation simply of what she did next. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why don't you remember these things? That's what this explains. And quite frankly, that I think is relevant, and it's certainly, I think, permissible at this point. If the people have an expert that they can bring in and say, hey, look, that's not what's going on with this woman, that's their call. But to say she can't even talk about it because somebody else may disagree with her is not the standard. The standard here is the information relevant, and certainly, did she act upon it? Certainly. And she's acting upon this information, and does it explain an issue for which the jury has to determine? They have to determine intention, and quite frankly, if she doesn't even remember the conduct that she's involved with, certainly that goes to show that she didn't make I would argue that it shows that she didn't make an informed choice to do the things that happened in that household. But certainly she gets a chance to explain why it is I don't remember, because that's going to be her answer. I don't remember. And so she gets a chance to explain that, and that's all we're asking here. We're not going to argue that this is a defense. It's just simply an explanation for why she did what she did.
All right, Mr. Roberts.
Well, she can certainly answer she doesn't remember. Absolutely, she can answer that. What she can't do is testify about a diagnosis that she says that she's been provided by somebody and an explanation for what that diagnosis means. She's not a doctor. Anything that she learned to talk about disassociation was provided to her by hearsay, and that those individuals, if that is going to be the testimony and disassociation is the defense, then I want the doctor here that examined her and diagnosed her with having disassociation so she can conveniently forget the horrible things that happened in this case. It's all hearsay. It's not the same thing as intoxication.
So, Mr. Johnson, I think you're going to ask her if she doesn't remember, assuming she's going to answer no. Well, why don't you not remember? She's going to say, well, because I have this dissociation disorder, right? I think you'd have to lay the foundation for that testimony. And the foundation for that testimony would be hearsay, would be from some other source. She's obviously not a doctor. She can't self-diagnose herself. She's not been admitted as an expert, so she can, as a layperson, testify to what she feels and those things rationally based upon her feelings and what she sees and understands. So I don't think it's an objection that she can say, I don't remember. Why don't you remember? Well, because, I black out. Now, your example was drunk driving. Well, a layperson can say, hey, listen, in my experience, when I drink 8 beers, I, stumble. I can't really remember, those kind of things. And it's rationally based on her
Hi, Z. Good to see you.
perception. And she can describe those things that are happening to her. I think that's fair. But in order to say, yes, that is exactly dissociation disorder or this, there's got to be a foundation laid for that.
Yes, sir.
And she cannot lay that foundation. Again, that would be hearsay. Again, if a doctor comes in and says, we told her this, that lays the foundation, okay, fine. But I think Mr. Roberts is correct when he says that foundation has not been laid, which would then implicate him bringing in a doctor to say that's not true. So based on that, I am going to sustain the objection. Again, you can still ask her about what she felt, what she heard, what she saw, the symptoms she experienced. I don't think you're objecting to that, Mr. Roberts, is that correct?
Well, symptoms makes me a little bit nervous. I guess we can address it on a answer by answer basis.
But if she says, hey, look, I felt heart palpitations, or I felt my blood pressure going up, or I felt...
Oh, certainly talking about physical impacts on your own body, sure, anybody can testify to those things.
Right.
But tying it to any specific diagnosis is just inappropriate because there's no foundation, as the court's indicated.
I agree. All right, so objection is sustained.
Do you understand we can't talk about disassociation? We can't use that term?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Secondly, Judge, and a few moments ago, I was given permission to approach my client. I whispered something using Gabriel's name.
Yeah, Mr. John, I did hear. Mr. Roberts caught that too. Yeah, so no, I didn't say anything then, and I understand. We've been, practice. I've seen you in practice. You haven't actually practiced in front of me yet, but I certainly have seen you in action. So I think I trust that you're not doing anything nefarious. So
thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Mr. Roberts?
No, sir.
Okay. Let's bring him back up. Please rise.
Please rise. I think this clip is almost over, and then I'm gonna go into the next clip because it's like 5. I don't know why they made it so difficult. They made this so choppy. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm telling you, they made this one so hard to watch. Hey, BB, good to see you. Hey. Morning. Let me see how much is left.
You may continue, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Ms. Vander Ark, you've told the jury about how busy you are.
There's still a little bit left on this one.
That you have some physical things going on with you, correct?
Yes, sir.
How did those things impact you in terms of your ability to think clearly, organize, and follow through on information?
Starting right after my husband's stroke, I started experiencing episodes where if you've ever passed out, like the world close, you get tunnel vision and the world closes in on you until you completely black out. It felt like I was blacking out, but I didn't actually pass out. And the events that happened after that, I have no idea of what happened. I don't remember it. I don't know.
Okay.
And this happened anytime I got even a little stressed.
So you're understanding, you're under oath right now, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're asked to tell the truth right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're asking you that you not guess at anything?
Correct.
Okay, do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
So it is, if you don't understand, we need to say, you don't remember, we need to say those things?
Correct.
Okay. And you did testify that these symptoms and this pressure impacted your recollections, is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
And then there's the final pressure. You're raising children and teenage children, some of them in your home at the same time. So all these things are going on at once, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
While you're at work monitoring, and you've got the ability to monitor the home, would your job permit you, did you have the ability?
Monitoring the home or stalking the home. That was a whole different level of monitoring the home.
To sit in front of a monitor and watch the home?
There's monitoring the home, like having cameras like I do in my house and outside of my house, and then there's having a camera pointing at the toilet in the shower and watching your son do what he does and having time limits on what he do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
all the time? Or were there times that you could not do that?
Most of the time I couldn't do it.
And why is that?
Because I had work to do. Part of the time I was in court with my judge, and then most of the time I was doing research or doing other tasks that my judge or one of the other judges in the county assigned. So I didn't have time to do that.
When you're watching the videos on the phone, you said you watched them with your telephone screen, correct?
Correct.
And it is a standard screen, nothing special about it?
It was an iPhone, I think it was a 12.
Okay. I've seen those video cameras where systems where you can have 4 different cameras going all at one time, all the same screen. Was that your situation, or did you move from camera to camera and only have that camera visible?
No, the cameras were different brands and different cameras, so you could only do one at a time.
Okay, all right. So, and
Yeah, no, I already told them that they should stick to the end because I have to, like today and then next week. Well, actually, I'm thinking I'm taking a break next week, but the next time. But this time, at the end of this video, is when she starts like pretending like she's puking. It's quite comical. Yeah, it's quite the show.
were you wearing an iWatch, Isabel?
An Apple Watch, yes.
Apple Watch, thank you. Were you able to monitor your children from the Apple Watch?
No.
Okay. So if you were, say, in a courtroom like this and you're doing your job, you got a message on your Apple Watch, what would you get?
You could get messages and pictures. You couldn't see it. I mean, the screen was tiny. But you could get messages, and then there's certain like pat responses, like pre-programmed responses, or you can type with your finger.
Okay. I'm going to ask you about a specific email or text that you received that accompanied a picture. It's the one that the prosecutor's given to the jury, that shows Timothy from the chest up and then his legs. You know what I'm talking about?
I have heard about it. I have not actually seen these pictures.
What you respond to it? How's it come? Can that be?
I typed on we were in court that day. I actually think I responded. I'm in court. I scribbled out a message real quick back to Paul.
Okay. So did you see the photograph afterwards?
No, I had too many messages on my phone. I don't usually scroll back.
Okay. So how did you know to respond to Paul to say, give him some food?
Because of what he said. He had sent a message saying something.
Okay. So you were able to see the message?
Yes, I saw the, and the picture, I mean, it's this big, but there was pictures, I just couldn't see what it was of.
Okay. I deviated again. I tend to do that. Sorry about that. I need to be more organized, and we'll get there. We talked about the leg irons. We talked about the plastic ties. And did you purchase those plastic ties?
I don't remember, honestly.
Okay. What about the hot sauce? Tell this jury about hot sauce and your son Timothy. Well, I'm not going to tell you my understanding because you don't need to know that. The question is, whose idea was it to get hot sauce and to administer it to your son?
The idea was originally Paul's.
Okay. And what was the point of the hot sauce?
Because we had tried multiple other discipline methods, and he thought maybe that would get him to stop misbehaving.
Okay.
He suggested it to me, and I was so wrung out, I was willing to try just about anything.
All right. Were you aware that this hot sauce was purchased online?
Yes.
Do you know why it was purchased online instead of going to Meijer and
I mean, I've seen the videos. Some people in the chat have seen the videos of Timothy in the closet and while he was still alive, and she knew what she did to him. Don't be fake throwing up. Don't be putting on a show. Like, you know exactly what you did to him.
Up about hot sauce.
Well, I didn't have time to go to the store. I mean, our groceries I did the grocery delivery through the Walmart app or through the Meijer app. And I didn't see anything. They just had basic stuff. And from our discussion, we had talked about something. And Timothy could handle this child. When I got pregnant.
I know you're going there. Well, hold on a second.
Okay, sorry.
I want to make sure we understand this. This hot sauce has a particular label. I've never seen it at Meijer. Did you see the label? Did you see the hot sauce itself? Did you order it?
I believe I ordered at least one of the bottles, yes.
Okay. Why did you order this particular hot sauce? Or these particular hot sauces? What do they have in common?
Because I think it was the same brand, the same one. Because it was hotter than what you could usually get, and because Timothy he liked spicy food.
Lot. Oh my God! Again.
My detector test determined that was a lie.
A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Okay.
He loved spicy food.
All right. How do you know you like spicy food?
That actually started before he was ever born. Before I got pregnant with Timothy, I didn't like spicy at all. I mean, nothing. No heat, nothing. And when I got pregnant with him, I started craving, my ex liked spicy foods, but I didn't. And I started craving, like I would outspice my ex. It was amazing. I still like, not to the extent when I was pregnant, but some of that remained. But Timothy, as early as age 2, he could eat a whole bag of the flaming hot Cheetos without a drink. I mean, just he could down, he loved spicy food.
Who in the hell is feeding their 2-year-old flaming hot Cheetos? Answer me that. I'll wait. I'll wait. I don't have kids. I'll say this till I'm blue in the face. I don't have kids. I am not a mother. But who in the hell is feeding their 2-year-old, flaming hot Cheetos? Dumbass.
Okay.
It used to scare the heck out of me.
But you were aware that these spices were hotter than what you needed
Yes,
in higher?
yes.
And that it was for disciplinary issues, is that
Yes.
correct? Did you ever, the testimony was that you did childcare while Paul was at school
Tomatoes
or at
in the
work?
chat.
Did
Tomatoes
you ever
in the
administer any of the
chat.
hot sauce yourself?
Absolutely.
If I remember, I might have done someone bread a couple of times.
Tomatoes.
But usually by the time I got home, that either we were cooking food, I had to cook, or I had Paul cook something so I could feed everybody. But I don't recall, I think.
Except for the one. You didn't feed everybody. You forgot one. You forgot one.
I did it on bread once or twice maybe, but that was it.
There's a text out
Once or twice maybe, but that was it. Girl, you know those text messages told on you, right?
there that says you suggested putting hot sauce on his penis. Do you remember hearing that with the jury?
I remember hearing it, yes.
Do you remember saying those things?
I do not, no sir.
Oh yeah, we talked about the ice baths. Some called cold baths and sometimes they were called ice baths. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So y'all remember last week when the nice officer and detective read us the text messages and she was all like, I wonder how it would feel if we put hot sauce on his, and Paul was like, no, we ain't gonna do that. That was the only time he ever said no to his mother. The texts are there. Like, she's such a lying piece of shit.
The source of the ice, according to the testimony I heard, was your home refrigerator.
No, it was actually a countertop ice maker. The refrigerator did not have an ice maker in it.
Okay, and you didn't go out and buy the 50-pound bags of ice for the home?
No, I did not.
How much ice are we talking about that tabletop ice maker?
It actually made about a cup and a half of ice. I had to measure it to use it I made some frappes at times.
Okay.
The basket was maybe this wide, and then underneath was the water, where the water was kept, because that's how it made the ice.
Okay.
And then it took about 2 hours to remake more ice.
Okay.
I heard hell is your worst nightmare. Hell's got plans for her, for sure.
Okay. You admit getting frustrated with your child care efforts with Timothy, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Frustrated, discouraged.
Did you ever intend to hurt him?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You raised other children, correct?
Yes, I did.
And while Timmy was malnourished, to your knowledge, have any of your other children ever been reported as malnourished?
No, not at all.
So ridiculous.
As I looked at Paul, he seemed like a thin guy to me.
He is. We're all pretty small. Well,
Okay.
my oldest is a little bit thicker.
Okay. My question is this: was Timothy's, when he was healthy, was his build
Cute.
like his brothers, or was he
know.
built like his older brother, who's a little heavier?
He went back and forth. He actually, there was a situation where he actually got on the bathroom scale it was after Mother's Day of 2022. I can tell you why I know it's after Mother's Day if you want me to.
No, that's not necessary.
Okay.
Unless
But
you ask.
I was training a new service dog, as has been discussed. It's a Great Dane puppy. He was 7 months old at the time. and he was too big to sit on the bathroom scale to get his weight, and I wanted to see what he weighed. And Timothy, what we would do is somebody would stand on the scale, get your weight, and then you pick up the dog. And Timothy wanted to help out that day. So I thought the dog would be too big for him at that point. He was already really big at 7 months old. But I said, okay, let's try it. And so it was, like I said, sometime after Mother's Day. It wasn't very long after Mother's Day. But at the time, he was 104. Timothy was.
Okay.
He could not pick up the dog because the dog was 102 at the time.
Okay. Part of this process of providing childcare, somebody had to be the eyes in the house when you weren't there, is that correct?
Yes.
And you selected Paul for that purpose.
I didn't have a choice. That was my only option.
How much did you rely upon what Paul was telling you?
I totally relied on him.
Do you remember during the reading of the transcripts, the text, that you asked Paul? Matter of fact, let me. Be honest with me. Are you worried about him at all, or is it all a bunch of BS like it has been for days? Do you remember that? Do you remember that text?
Vaguely, yes, sir.
Okay. Do you remember his response?
I remember he said he wasn't worried about it.
Did you rely on that?
Yes, absolutely. He was the one. I was a few hours when the kids were awake, unfortunately.
And then you had to try to sleep yourself.
I tried, yes, sir.
And
They slept better than I did.
Let's face it. Your house is a mess. It's a wreck.
Yes, sir.
Why was that?
I'm not a great person at keeping things clean, and having 3 boys, that contributed. I tried to get their help cleaning up as much as I could, but I just didn't have time or the energy with the lack of sleep and everything else going on. I barely functioned.
Okay. And that message strike that underneath that. Did you depend? I asked you. Did you depend on what Paul was telling you?
Yes, sir.
In your opinion, did Paul ever, for lack of a better term, sound the alarm?
Not that I was aware of, no, sir.
Okay. That one message, was that it?
That was it. That's the only thing I got from Paul that ever had any concern.
With the one little pictures in it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And let's talk about some other stuff here.
She loved those dogs more than anything else. Like her shitty little YouTube channel that she had. Oh my God. Like she tried to get Paul to hold the dogs still, but he was trying to play with the dogs, and she was all like, stop playing with the dogs. And the dogs were not even trained. They were like jumping all over the place. Diana, someone called me a stupid slag. It's fine.
Once you discovered that Timothy had passed, and once the police
Hey, gold star for them for shitty comment of the day.
get there, do you tell them the truth?
No. I was so freaked out. I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, she's worse than Tisha. Look at that face. Let me.
I've got one. Sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome. Why didn't you tell them the truth? Why were you so freaked?
I don't remember what my line of thinking was at the time. I was so I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't.
Were you tired at that point?
I was exhausted. The night before he passed, I had less than an hour of sleep.
Were you frightened at that point?
Absolutely. I just lost my son.
You need a moment?
I'm okay.
Okay.
I
Were
don't know.
you expecting?
I didn't even look.
Was this outcome expected by you?
Let's see.
Absolutely not. No.
So would it be safe to say you were surprised?
I was shocked.
Were
I
you
doubt
in
it.
disbelief
I doubt it,
initially?
Yes, absolutely.
We've got there's an indication that it took you a while to call the police. In fact, you told Paul not to, according to Paul's testimony. Why did it take you so long? He said 18 minutes out. Why did it take you so long to call the police?
I have no idea, honestly. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. It was surreal. Like you don't even know what's going on. Time slowed down and I didn't know what was going on.
When was the first time you found out it took 18 minutes to call the police?
It's fine. I know who it is. Haters are going to be haters.
Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah, it was within the last few days.
Okay.
That's the first time.
Do you remember who was testifying when you found out? It doesn't matter.
I think we discussed it at a meeting on Monday.
Yes,
it Monday?
you did.
I think so. And I heard 14 minutes initially, and then the first time I heard 18 minutes was when Paul said it yesterday.
Do you remember?
God, I keep hitting
How
my laptop.
clear is your memory of your time and from the time you found Timothy and he had passed, and to the time you finished talking to the police that day?
It's spotty.
Okay. The first officer said that you were distraught. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely.
He said that you were crying. Do you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember telling the police that you pulled Timothy from his bunk bed when you found him in distress?
I remember saying something like that, yes, sir.
Was that true?
No, sir.
Do you remember providing CPR for Timothy?
Yes, I do.
When did you stop that?
When the pro-med people walked down into the basement. I had asked them to take over, and they didn't take over right away, but they said I had to leave the area.
Okay. Let's do the hard stuff here. Jury's seen pictures of Timothy. We've all seen pictures of Timothy at the time of his death. How could you not know he was that ill? How could you not know?
Honestly, I was barely functioning. I missed a lot. I hate it because, I feel like a complete failure, but there was things that I just didn't see. There was a lot that I didn't see, unfortunately.
In those texts, you instruct Paul to make sure he's getting enough calories, correct?
Yes, sir. I did.
You had a restricted diet, correct?
Yes, sir.
But you instructed Paul to make sure he's getting calories.
Yes, sir, I did.
Lie detector test determined that was a lie.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
All she did was give him hot sauce, bread with hot sauce on it. Like, no ma'am, and no ma'am. Absolutely not. Sorry, you guys. I had to go check. My dog was going crazy. I don't know why. I don't know how many more lies we're going to hear. Like, honestly, you guys, I can't wait till we get to the new 2 hearings because she just had time to sit and think about more new bullshit to talk about. And there's just no way that she's getting a new trial. Like, there's no way. She can't. She can't.
Did you rely on that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Paul says he called the police ultimately. Who called the police?
I called 911. It was on my phone. I'm sure you can pull the call and find out where it's from.
Did you intend to hurt Timothy?
No, never.
Did you know he was being hurt?
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
The tactics that you use to first of all, the tactics that you use to discipline Timothy, did they seem extreme or outrageous to you at the time?
No.
Timothy remained in, you'll admit the bath was not warm on the day he died. It was a cold bath.
Correct, the day before.
It wasn't an ice bath though, correct?
I wasn't,
You know.
from the text it looks like he did, but that wasn't what was said to do.
Okay. Okay.
Paul chose to do the ice on his own, if you look at the text.
Okay. So, there's testimony that you remained in that tub for hours. Were you aware of that?
No, I didn't realize he was in the tub, no.
When you came home, you didn't realize he was in the tub?
I did when I got home. I actually ran him a warm bath when I got home.
Okay. Where?
In the tub downstairs.
Okay, so once you found him in the tub, what did you, explain to the jury what you're talking about.
Well, I had to get Paul to work, and then I came home, and
She'd ordered and directed the ice baths. Ma'am, again, the texts. You realize they have the text messages. They took your phone.
my understanding, at least, was that when Paul had splashed water, he had splashed it on his face only. That's what I understood. So I didn't realize he was still there. And so when I got home, I was like, wait a second, what the? So I decided to go ahead and run a warm bath just to.
There's a bunch of stuff in there talk about make sure he doesn't sleep, make sure he doesn't sleep. What's that about?
There was a couple of situations where Timothy actually intentionally kept everybody in the house awake. He would intentionally set off the motion sensors. He would make noise. With the house being a bi-level, you could hear a lot from the downstairs. But he intentionally kept everybody awake.
Okay.
He intentionally set off the motion, whatever, detectors. It's because you literally had them locked on his body. In the closet, when she positions him and has one on his neck and says, and don't move your head because we'll know, ma'am, you did that. That's your fault. You put those on him. People move. The child had to move. So what? He had to 24/7 his entire life?
And so that was, okay, if you're going to keep us awake, then you have to stay awake.
Okay. So here's my question. If he slept all day, what would he do all night?
Oh, he'd be up all night. You had to get him up no later than about 10 in the morning, or he was up all night long.
Okay. There's a door that has a dent in it that we still have an exhibit of. Okay? And you heard Paul testify that he did that.
Yes.
What is your recollection of that incident?
What I remember is I remember hearing Paul yell from his room, because his room was directly below the master bedroom. And then I pulled up I wasn't asleep, so I pulled up the main camera in the basement area, and I see Paul come out and kick that door, and I went to hit the button. He was screaming at Timothy while it happened, and I hit the two-way talk button on the camera and said, hey, what the heck, go back to bed. And I actually had to physically go downstairs and get him away from the door and send him to bed.
Was in the text on occasion, Paul would have say things that suggest aggressions towards Timothy on occasion. Did you know any other circumstances other than what's in those situations in the text?
Oh, absolutely. Paul he never displayed that towards my youngest. He never displayed that towards my husband when he was still at home, or myself. He would get aggressive when he was playing games. He would get really angry. He had some serious anger issues. And then when Timothy moved up, and Timothy did push his buttons some, but he never reacted well. I mean, he just overreacted to Timothy every time. He hardly ever reacted rationally to Timothy.
Okay. And so, other than what he was texting you, and other than what you could see when you weren't working at your job, you don't have first-hand information as to what's going on between Paul and Timothy. Is that correct?
No, I asked my little guy occasionally, but Timothy never told me anything that was going on.
Okay.
So I did. I mean, I asked just because if I had texted Paul and he seemed upset, then I would get home and, hey, is everything okay? And my little guy, honestly, I don't remember him ever saying that there was an issue. He said, yeah, Paul got mad, but that was it. He never said anything happened.
Okay. What was your intent when you would administer punishments to Timothy?
To get him to behave.
Was it ever your intent to harm him?
No, absolutely not. No,
What exactly did he do to deserve all of that? That's what I would like to know. To get him to behave? What? Explain. Example? Can you give the court an example, please? If I were a judge, I'd be like, example. Because none of that whatsoever is rational thinking.
the locks on the fridge and freezer, they're actually, he scared the heck out of me after my husband's stroke. And that's what brought those two on.
Okay.
I can tell you what happened.
What was the incident? And then I got a...
If this is what I think she's about to say, she's so... Oh my God.
What was the incident that caused you to put locks on the fridge?
I had just purchased a 2-pound bag of frozen chicken nuggets and put it in the freezer. And overnight, I guess he got around the motion sensors. But the next day, it was a weekend, and the next day I went to, little man asked for some chicken nuggets. And I went to get them, and the bag was empty in the freezer. And I was like, what? I mean, we hadn't touched it. And so I started asking, and at first Timothy lied to me. He said he didn't touch it. And then I went and checked with little...
She does! Oh my God! I didn't even think about that. She absolutely does.
Man, I'm with Paul, and nobody had touched the... So I went back because I had issues with both Paul and Timothy lying to me a lot. So I went back to Timothy. I said, nobody else has touched this. He said, I ate them. I said, okay, did you cook them? He said, no, he ate the whole 2-pound bag frozen, uncooked chicken.
All right.
Yeah.
Were you concerned about his health and getting into and eating frozen food?
Yes, and he ate, there was a time where he ate uncooked bacon out of the fridge before the chicken nugget incident. He ate a whole pound of uncooked ground beef at one point.
I think she's lying, but let me tell you something. She thought it was okay to tease him with the frozen Tostino's little pizza roll. This, for someone who graduated law school, she said the frozen nuggets was raw chicken. Never in my life have I ever bought a bag of frozen nuggets that was raw chicken. Those things are cooked thoroughly through. You just got to warm them up. Now, he didn't warm them up, and you can still get bacteria infection if you don't cook them thoroughly. But it's not raw chicken. They're already cooked. She's under the impression, oh my God. Dude, they're doing bullshit next door. And my dogs are going crazy and they're driving me crazy. But yeah, ma'am.
This was all after the stroke when there was less people to keep an eye on.
Did it occur to you he's doing those things because he's hungry? He's starving?
No, there was plenty of food. There was no issues. He never told me he was hungry at the time when these incidents happened.
Okay, so fast forward. You offer him 2 pizza rolls if he does a certain thing. And you say, I don't care if they're frozen when you give them to him. If you're concerned about him eating frozen food, why would you offer him 2 frozen pizza rolls?
Because the chicken was uncooked and it's dangerous.
Ma'am.
That actually, I had a panic attack when he did the chicken. It was terrifying. I broke down completely.
So the nuggets were uncooked chicken?
Yes, it's uncooked chicken. That could have killed him.
Okay.
It freaked me out.
But the pizza...
She's so dumb.
Were these cooked?
Yes, that was just, you reheated them.
Okay. He was... And I agree. He was rail thin.
But this is the lady that graduated law. She passed the bar. I want to know what kind of chicken nuggets these were, because I ain't never heard of that. And I like chicken nuggets. I've tried all kinds of different chicken nugget brands.
How did you not notice?
I wish I hadn't answered that. Part of it, he actually, from the time of the stroke, because my husband's stroke was January 3rd of 2022, so most of this was cold weather. Part of it was he wore big clothes, he wore hoodies. The clothes that were sent to him from his dad and stepmom, most of the pants didn't fit him well to begin with. And I had gotten him a couple of pairs of jeans, but I mean, I couldn't afford a lot. And he also, once the stroke happened, he got really reclusive. He didn't want, and I had to force him, for a while when he was doing his homeschooling, he would do it on his tablet. And then I found out I tried to lock the tablet down, but he was doing other stuff on his tablet when he was supposed to be doing schoolwork. So I started the curriculum that he was on. You could print the assignments and the questions. So I started printing that, and literally he'd be like, just stick it on the stairs. And he'd give me the other assignments. I would grade them and stick them and put them into the program. But he didn't want anything to do with me, hardly at all.
Yeah, but when you put your arms around him to hug your son.
He didn't want hugged. He was 15. He didn't want me.
And he was autistic, correct?
He was high functioning.
Okay.
But most of the autism came with like interactions with other people. He struggled there.
Okay. So was it just you he didn't want touching, or was there anybody, he didn't want anybody else?
He didn't want Gabriel, he didn't want little man hugging him either.
Okay. What about Paul? Do you ever see
They
him?
never offered to hug each other.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kel, it's that's like the thing, the bread, the hot sauce, the starving, it's like every other case that I see, it's kids abandoned in home or kids found in, home in crazy conditions, and kids found malnutrition and kids found starved. And I mean, it's just like, why?
I have no further questions. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Roberts, how long do you anticipate your...
Oh, I'm thinking at least an hour and a half, Judge. So.
Okay. Well, it's a little early before lunch. I think it's a natural time to take a break, unless you prefer to start now, Mr.
Actually,
Roberts.
there's an issue I think that I'd like to address first. Might cut a small chunk of that out, but it's going to be quite extensive. So I agree that it makes sense to break now and maybe come back early.
All right.
Oh, I'm sitting here. That was the end of the video. I thought we were waiting on something from them. All right, so the next, and I hope these are in order. I tried, you guys. These things were so choppy.
Begin your cross-examination. Oh, actually, we'll recall. Yeah, sorry.
So I think we're going to go into cross-examination now.
How to do that? Ms. Vander Ark? You're reminded you are still under oath.
Yes, sir.
Well, apparently she don't care about that.
Go ahead, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Vander Ark.
I love this. I love this attorney.
Now, Mr. Johnson kind of tried to shortchange you a little bit earlier in your in his direct examination when he wanted to talk about your background, your schooling. Remind the jury again of your educational background.
I have a Bachelor of Science degree, magna cum laude, and then I also have a Juris Doctorate, it's a law degree, that I graduated magna cum laude, second in my class.
And magna cum laude, for those that might not be familiar, means with the highest honors, correct?
Yes, sir. In law school, actually, Summa only goes to number one. At the college level, it's above a certain GPA, but for law school, only number one gets Summa, and then above a certain GPA gets magna.
He is a pit bull, and what he's doing right now is proving how smart this woman actually is. He was all like, "Oh, your attorney shortchanged you there. Let's prove how smart you actually are." I love this.
And then below that is even cum laude, which is what Mr. Johnson tried to say where,
Yes,
and I think you corrected him and made sure the jury understood, no, you were second in your class in
Yes.
school, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you took the bar exam,
I did.
passed the bar exam
First try, yes, sir.
with a very high score, right?
Yes, sir.
What was that score?
182 out of 200.
The bar exam is an incredibly difficult test to pass, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. And it was like 400 hours of study that went into that.
And the pass rate for it usually hovers somewhere around 60%. So 4 out of 10 people that take it usually fail, right?
I did not know that, but I'll take your word for it.
Okay. But you understood it to be a very difficult test when
Oh,
you took it.
yes, yes.
And I believe that score would constitute the highest score for that time that you took the bar, right? Your score.
I mean, I don't know, I would assume so.
And you also were magna cum laude in undergrad as well for your
Yes, sir.
bachelor's degree?
Yes, sir.
And where did you obtain your bachelor's degree
Liberty
from?
University.
You had an opportunity to actually work in this very courthouse for a period of time, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I did my law school externship, and then after I graduated law school, I stayed on as an intern. It wasn't paid, but the experience was invaluable to me, so it was worth it.
And particularly the field that you were working when you were working here, you worked under Judge Smedley, one of
Yes,
our
I
other
did.
circuit court judges, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your area of focus that you wanted to really focus in on was appellate criminal work, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had an opportunity to work on some cases here in Muskegon?
I did, yes, sir.
And eventually that turned into an opportunity to go work for another judge in another county, correct?
Yes, sir.
Up in Newaygo County?
Yes, sir, for another circuit judge.
Right, and you were doing the same type of work there?
Yet even more work than what I was doing here, more specific. I didn't do the sentence scorings here, and I did that there. I helped Judge Smedley write one opinion while I was here, but I actually drafted most of my judge's opinions as law clerk.
It's quite the responsibility that you had there, so congratulations on that.
Thank you, sir.
And remind the jury again, how many children do you actually have?
I have 5 total.
Okay, and again, we're not going to name the youngest, little man, I think
Little
you call
man,
him.
yes. Nolan is 23 and married. Paul is 21 now. Millie, my only daughter, is 19. She's in college in Oklahoma, as far as I know. I haven't talked to her in a long time. Timothy he would be 17. He was 15, a month shy of 16, and then little man just turned 9 in September.
And with the exception of Timothy, no harm has come to your children in terms of them, dying as a result of malnutrition and starvation, has it?
No, not at all.
Dehydration, hypothermia?
No, sir.
None of those inflicted on any of your other children?
No, sir. They're all healthy.
Detective Piesky, at the time he interviewed you, I think attempted to get some photos of Timothy from your phone, and you told him that you had no photos on your phone of him from January on, did you?
I had one from January, but after that, no, I didn't have any.
But you had a functioning phone.
I did, yes, sir.
You used it to monitor the cameras that we've talked about, the motion sensors, all that stuff. You had the ability to use a phone that was your own personal phone.
Yes,
right?
sir, that was my phone.
It wasn't a work phone where there was a restriction to say, well,
No.
you can't take photos, anything
No.
of that nature, was it?
No.
So you certainly had the ability to have photographs of your child on your phone, right?
I did, yes, sir.
Let's talk about some of your health issues, because you listed quite a few issues that in terms of your diagnosis and health issues that you had. I think you said ADHD, something called sensory processing disorder,
OCD,
those PTSD. I guess I would kind of classify those more as almost, I don't want to use, I'm not using this word in a negative context, because those are almost more mental disorders. Would you
Yes,
agree
sir.
with
Yes,
that?
sir. No, I agree with that.
Right. You also had some physical disabilities as well.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if Mr. Johnson went into those, so why don't you
He didn't.
tell the jury what your physical disorders are as well?
I have allergy-induced asthma. I am allergic to almost everything environmental other than animals, every different type of pollen and mold and weeds. And then I am reactive hypoglycemic. I have been my whole life, but it was actually after Timothy was born, it got much worse. And they finally figured out right after I moved here what was going on. But it required, I can eat and my blood sugar will still crash. So I can pass out, I can be doing whatever and just pass out. So
if I'm not mistaken, you actually, I had the opportunity to meet a very, very nice but very large dog. You had a service animal when you worked here, didn't you?
Yes, sir, I did.
Gemini.
Gemini, yes.
And Gemini's function as your service dog was what?
He was scent trained to pick up your blood sugar smell. If you've ever been around a diabetic, when their sugar's high enough, they put off this hubba bubba bubblicious smell. Well, we, as humans, we can't pick up the low blood sugar smell, but a dog can actually pick up your sugar going up about 20 minutes before we can. And they can pick up the low blood sugar. So he was scent trained. He would let me know when my sugar was about to crash. So I always carried orange juice with me, and that would keep my blood sugar up for 2.5 to 3 hours guaranteed. And then he was also trained, if I ignored his alert, and this did happen at work a couple of times, he was trained, he was off leash, he was trained to go and get somebody to bring them to me to make sure I took care of it so I didn't pass out.
It's just remarkable that dogs can do that. That's just an aside. And was Gemini the first service dog?
I think so, Mark. Yeah. It complicated her life. He interrupted what she had going on.
No, sir. He was my second.
Okay, and so you had one before Gemini, and then
one after.
Then one after, and that was Sharma?
Sharma, yes, sir. He was another Great Dane.
Another Great Dane. Okay.
I like the big dogs.
So you are keenly aware of your health issues and the things that you need to do to address your health issues, right?
At times, I don't take great care of myself. I will admit that.
And the fallback to that is you have a dog that will alert you if your blood sugar gets low.
Yes, yeah.
So you understand that so you have a backup plan.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
So if I forget to eat or my blood sugar gets too low, then my dog is going to alert me to that. So I've got a backup plan.
Yes,
right?
sir.
But you understand how that works. You understand
Yes, sir.
the medical need to have those things treated. Right?
Yes, sir.
And the need to have your other issues that we talk about get treatment for those issues as well, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Sensory processing disorder involves basically overstimulation, right?
Yes, sir.
And you suffer from a disorder which causes stimulated with what, audio and visual stimuli, correct?
That's part of it, yes, sir. It can be stress related as well.
But as a punishment for your child, you decided that.
Yeah, like me sounds, like going to the grocery store, like I can just hear everybody's different conversations. Again, like I said, textures, things like that. I don't know if that has more to do with the ADHD, but yeah, it's like right now I'm having a hard time concentrating because next door they're pounding on something.
Hot sauce, audio alarms, cold, we'll get into this later, but cold, at least cold, if not ice baths, and isolation and sensory deprivation were appropriate means of punishment. Is that your testimony? Those
Yes,
were
sir.
appropriate forms of punishment?
For some of it, yes, sir.
You also train service animals, correct?
I do.
And when you train service animals, is crate training involved at all?
Yes, it is usually.
And explain what crate training is to Richard.
It depends on what you're using it for. Usually it's part of house training to begin with. And when the service animal in training is very young, you don't get to take them with you 24/7. So you don't want to leave them unattended a lot of times. Plus, putting a dog in a crate, a lot of times that's comforting to them. They like the more enclosed space. So it keeps them contained, keeps them from being destructive, and it teaches them, like for house training, it'll teach them not to do anything in their house, basically, where you take them outside and where they do their business.
And one of the ways you make them feel comfortable in their crates, and so it's their house, is they have a blanket or something of comfort in the crates, right?
I don't usually, at least not for house training, because then they could actually do their business on that and shove it to the back of the crate. So I don't usually put anything in there.
But that is a method that some people do
use
employ.
it. Some
crate
people
training,
use it, yes,
right?
but I don't.
Right. There's a lot of text messages. We had a lot of testimony from Paul yesterday and a lot of photographs about Timothy's small room. That was basically like a crate, wasn't it?
I don't believe it was that enclosed, but he asked
Yeah, it was pretty small.
for a space that he could close the door.
He asked.
So you put him in a closet, a little coat closet.
Go into that?
He asked for a space. He asked for somewhere he could, some place he can go in and close the door, and it was actually half joking. I was like,
Hey, FarQ, good to see you.
That's all I've got. Because the other rooms were taken, and there was no way he was sharing with Paul, and I didn't really want him sharing with little man either.
But you didn't set that up as a room for him, did you?
Not originally, no. He was actually out in the lower area for a while.
But you didn't put a bed in there. You didn't put
We
a
did
mattress
originally,
in
yes.
there.
He tore it up.
Okay, but there was no mattress, nothing of comfort for there in him the day before he died, was there?
Not that day, no. He had torn it up. I couldn't afford to get another one.
You put a blue tarp in there, didn't you?
That was what was on the mattress previously, yes.
And the tarp.
There was never a mattress in there. And I'm pretty sure they know that by looking at all the camera footage. We don't know that, but I'm pretty sure.
Tarp was because he would wet himself.
Yes, sir. Because I tried the mattress covers. I tried plastic. I tried some of the rewashable, and he kept tearing them up.
Maybe if you let the child be a regular human being, go to the bathroom, like I've said before, he might not wet himself.
So his place of comfort was a closet with a blue tarp. Is that what you want the jury to believe?
He spent some time there. I wouldn't say that was a place of comfort. I mean,
Spent some time there. Well, let's get into that. He slept in there most nights, didn't he?
After, I don't know. I don't know when exactly. It was. I mean, I know it was after my husband's stroke. I don't know when after that, but once he'd asked for that, yes, he did.
In fact, he rarely even slept on his bed, did he?
He had taken the bed apart and lost some of the bolts. It wasn't safe for him to sleep up there.
So the bed that we see on those pictures, it wasn't even safe to be used?
Yes, actually. And I was going to get into that at some point. I found a video of some things. Shanda had quite a background, and I want to get into it. I just got to get everything together. This girl, I was highly surprised. But I'm just going to say that she was in a foster care and they punished her by ice baths and bread and hot sauce. But when she was actually with her real family, she was the favorite child. So, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. And when she was in school, she was in like every club. And I've got pictures of her being a cheerleader. I've got pictures of her being in different clubs. So I'm going to get all that together and I'm going to give it to you guys. So.
No.
So it was a complete lie when you told the police officers that you had to pull him off the bed,
Oh my God, my
put him on the
back.
ground to do CPR, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it was a complete lie when you
My
told
back.
911, I need to put you on hold so I can take him off the bed to perform CPR, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. I don't even remember.
So in all your days, all your confusion, all your blacking out, tunnel vision, all that, you were able to somehow remember. I ought to tell everybody that Timothy was sleeping on a bed. Remember doing that?
Vaguely, yes, sir.
Have you ever given hot sauce to the dogs, to train the dogs?
I have put it on a couple of objects to keep them off of objects, yes.
Keeps them away from.
I would never. Ugh. Poor puppies. You know what happened to my baby? So I've got 2 little wieners. They went somewhere. They're probably barking at the neighbors. But I got 2 little weenies, doxies, and I got a male and a female, Frankie and Goose. And Frankie, the male, I was moving stuff around, and so I had my little potted cactus down on the ground, and he kept getting closer, and I was like, "Don't do it." And he got his little booper, and he got kissed by the cactus on his little booper. And he ran inside. I went to go check on him, and he was fine. But I would never. I couldn't give my dog hot sauce. What? I don't even like giving my dogs human food.
Right.
Yes, it does.
Right, because they don't want to eat the hot sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And so you never actually grabbed a dog, forced its mouth open, and poured hot sauce down its throat, have you?
No.
Never put hot sauce on a piece of food and then fed it to them make them eat it, have you?
No, because I don't give my dogs human food. You can't do that with service animals.
No, but you could put it on dog food, couldn't you?
I guess I've never even thought about that, honestly.
So it never occurred to you to use hot sauce, enforcing the use of hot sauce on a dog, but it occurred to you to use that as a form of punishment for your 14-year-old child?
It was Paul's idea, but yes, I was at my wit's end at that time.
It was Paul's idea, and you thought, yep, that sounds like a good idea. I think we'll do that. Is that what you're saying?
Yep, it's Paul's idea. It was all Paul. It was all Paul. So the text message you sent Paul about, I wonder how it would feel if we put hot sauce on his private parts. That was, no. Paul said no to that. No. Woman, it is all you. You are the demon.
I don't remember the exact conversation, but I said, like I said, at that point I was willing to try anything.
We'll get into the text, but there's dozens of texts in here, and this is just a small section of text where you tell Paul, put more hot sauce on the bread. Give him 4 slices of hot sauce. Do you remember those text messages?
Some of them, not very many, but some of them.
Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't punish a dog with hot sauce, but it's okay to punish a child with it.
Objection, Your Honor. That's
I'll move on. Would you stick a dog in an ice bath as punishment?
That would never occur to me. But then having big dogs, I don't bathe them at home anyway. I use dry shampoo or then
But sticking your child in an ice bath occurred to you. Okay.
Or I take them somewhere else. I don't have a
I'm
facility.
talking about as a form of, I'm not talking about giving them a bath. I'm talking about using
I don't have
as
space.
a form of punishment, putting a dog in an ice bath.
I don't have space to do that, so I wouldn't think of that because I don't have space with that size dog.
You're saying if you had a large enough tub to punish one of the dogs, you'd put him in an ice bath?
I can't imagine doing that, but...
You can't imagine doing that. Right?
Correct.
You can't imagine punishing an animal by putting him in an ice bath.
Because animals can't think the same way humans can.
Oh! Wow! Ma'am! Did you guys hear that? Loving this prosecuting attorney. Oh my God, Sleazy sweetheart. I think the part of the reason is because she hates him for all of the health. Oh, I know all of the health problems he has since he was born. She said it herself. She's diabolical, Vic. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. He's right. Mark is right. And I've said that before too. I think that, he wasn't born correct. He wasn't born right. And some parents, if their children are born with defects, I guess, I don't like using that word, but they don't like them. They spite them, they reject them. There are some things that happened back in the day in cults that if a baby came out deformed, they wouldn't even keep it. So, I mean, people are out there, they're like that, and I believe that she's absolutely, I don't think she loved him at all.
So it's okay to do it on a human because they can think, right? They can think better than dogs can, so it's okay to put them in an ice bath. Is that what your testimony is? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Ooh, he's got her stumped. She's like,
Is it okay to put a human in an ice bath because they can think better than dogs can, but you wouldn't do it to a dog?
I mean, based on the way you asked that, I guess the answer would have to be yes, but it's not the way I think, so...
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but you said you wouldn't do it for a dog, but we know you did it as a punishment for Timothy.
I never did personally.
But you told Paul to do it?
Yes. A couple of times.
And it never occurred to you, this is not a good idea. We shouldn't be doing this, right?
No, because it was, the amount of ice was almost, it was non-existent, so...
So it's okay as long as it's not a lot of ice in the ice bath? Is that your testimony?
if it doesn't affect the temperature much.
It starts off as cold anyway, doesn't it?
Not originally. I don't know down the road, but originally that's not what I had told him to do. Because the original time, the first time that happened, was before my husband's stroke. It was, Timothy had, we noticed there was no hot water. And we were like, what the heck? And I went down and I'm looking and I noticed the pilot light's not on the water, it's a gas water heater. I'm like, what on earth is going on?
This ends with Timothy turning off the gas, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
This part of the story, okay.
And he lied about it for 2 days, but.
Let me just make sure I understand that. Is it your testimony that you put ice in an otherwise hot bath to cool it down?
Yes.
Why don't you just start with warm water to begin with?
I honestly don't know. But that's what happened the first time.
So if you repeatedly refer in these text messages to them as cold and or ice baths, but that's what it was at the end, wasn't it? Cold baths or ice baths,
At
right?
the end, yes, sir, but not the first time.
Not the first time. You apparently needed ice to cool down a hot.
I have no idea what I was thinking. We'd all had to have cold showers for 2 days, and he'd lied to us about the water heater. I'd had to have the gas company out.
You remember taking the law school exam test? The
LSAT? Yes. Yeah. Oh, I hated that test.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, I agree with you there. There's a section on there that's about logic and reasoning, right?
Yes, sir.
And I kind of explained it to my friends as it's the, so-and-so can't sit next to so-and-so at a party, and this person can't sit on this side of the table, and this, so you have to map out all those things, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm guessing you scored pretty high on the LSAT, didn't you?
I scored pretty well. I mean, I got a scholarship to law school, so.
So for a test that serves your...
A scholarship to law school. I don't know nothing about that, but isn't that pretty big? Don't a lot of people got to pay for that? And that's expensive, right?
Interest for getting into law school, you have no problem using logic and reasoning, do you?
I mean, I managed to score on it. I hated that test. I know I did not miss a single, there's a logic games section. I think I missed one question on that out of 25. And I think the reading comprehension was also something like that. So I think the lowest score was actually on the logical reasoning.
And yet somewhere before the time your husband had a stroke, logic told you that you should use ice in a hot bath. Is that your testimony?
Yes, sir.
But then after that, you do acknowledge that it was cold and or ice baths.
Absolutely.
And that you encouraged Paul to pour water on Timothy, didn't you?
Yes.
Just the one day.
Just the one day?
Yes, sir.
Which day was that?
The day before he passed
So
away.
good at this.
Now, Mr. Johnson asked you some questions about homeschooling and not ever taking Timothy to a doctor. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
And I think you said that the reason you couldn't do that is because you couldn't get your ex-husband to help you out with signing over custody. Do you remember that?
Correct. Yes, sir.
The truth is, you were, by court order, not allowed to have custody of Timothy, weren't you?
That's correct. But I was offered the option of either taking him or they were going to put him in foster care. And I didn't want my son in foster care. I don't think anybody would.
But there was a court order that said you are not allowed to have custody of Timothy. I'm not talking about a custody agreement. I'm talking about a court order that says you can't have custody of Timothy.
My understanding of the order that you're talking about, it wasn't that I couldn't, it's just that I didn't get custody that time.
Mr. Weaver, we're going to excuse the jury. At this time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, hold on. All right, we're back on the record. We're going to go ahead and excuse the jury at this time. Thank you.
Oh my eye. think this section's almost over, and then there's just one. I think there's just one more part. Oh wait, I gotta have to check.
All right, maybe seated. All right, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would submit to the court that the way that those questions were just answered, it was really just a very simple yes or no question. And we covered this, and Ms. Vander Ark was present when we covered this, and the court was very limited in what it wanted me to ask, and I asked that question. And she tried to explain it away by saying that she was then offered a chance to take custody or have the child go into foster care. We know that's not true. And I think that gives me fair game at this point to ask her, isn't it true that you were actually subject to a petition to terminate your parental rights, and the only way that was withdrawn was because you agreed to give up and not have custody of Timothy?
Sir Johnson.
May I ask my client a question? Did you hear the conversation we had about the custody situation and the judge's ruling on that?
Yes, sir.
What did you think that meant? What do you think his ruling on the custody question, whether you could have legal custody of your child, meant? What did you think that meant?
Could you rephrase that? Because I didn't interrupt that conversation, but while y'all are having that conversation, I mean, my understanding of the exit order, the order you're talking about, was not the way it's been characterized. And I mean, from what Mr. Roberts just said, that was not my understanding of how that case ended. So.
All right. So, Your Honor, my response is this. I want that conversation because I want the court to have an opportunity to determine for herself if my client understood the instruction. Clearly, she did not. Clearly, the way she processes information is different, and she did not understand that she was not allowed to go into those other details. Quite frankly, she sat right here and she heard Your Honor say, this is how far we're going to go. This was clearly a yes or no answer. The rest of that conversation, those responses were not. I would agree with the people were not in keeping with the spirit of the court's order. They didn't get a lot of detail, but they clearly weren't in keeping. I would suggest, Your Honor, that my client be re-explained the limitations of her conversation on that issue, and that there be a corrective instruction given to the jury. I would disagree that we've gone so far into it. I think the court stopped us before we got to that point where it's opening a door that.
This judge is amazing. I can't wait till the end because he gives her the what for.
Allows evidence in that's more prejudicial than probative. I don't think we're at that point yet. That's my opinion. So I would ask for a re-explanation of my client as to how far she can go in answering this question, and a corrective instruction to the jury.
Mr. Roberts?
Yeah, I don't ring the bell, Judge, just because the witness decided to answer the question how she wanted to answer the question. That's like saying, well, I want to take back the answer now because I don't like what happened when I answered it. It's not fair. It's not fair to the prosecution.
Yeah. Tell him. Like, you can't, takes these backsies.
She's a law student. She's just sat up here and explained how she graduated second in her class in law school and passed the score of 182. She sat through this entire trial. She's been taking notes. She's been actively participating. She's trying to answer the questions the way she wants to get her point across, plain and simple. And the court's order couldn't have been any more explicit that it was a yes or no question about, isn't there a court order prohibiting you from having custody of the kids? I get to come back and explain now why she's sitting here saying that she thinks the order said, well, whenever you want custody back, if you want to take custody or the child goes into foster care, you can do that.
All right, well, before I make it...
I'm sorry, I didn't cut the court off. I apologize. I would just offer the court, I'm prepared for limiting instruction to the jury, that they don't consider this as any type of character evidence or anything of that nature. I think that's perfectly appropriate. But this is a mess of our own making at this point.
All right, well, before I make a ruling, I didn't hear her exact answer because I was in the middle of trying to look at Mr. Johnson to say maybe we stop this. So before I make a ruling, I want to hear exactly what her answer was. So I'm going to take a recess. I'm going to look at the record and make a finding. So, yep, we're in recess.
All right. So, hi, Avery. Good to see you. This is let me see. Remove video file. Dang, which one was I on? Let me see.
Roberts, you
Hold
can
on.
continue.
You can ask Paul, you can recall him, but I don't remember ever tossing it.
Come back at 3.
Okay.
Mr. Roberts,
You
you can
might not
continue.
get through all this today. Yeah, we might not get through all this today because this looks like this is another 40 minutes. So it's up to you guys.
Mr. Roberts, you can continue.
Thank you. Just to kind of put a bow on this and clarify things, Ms. Vander Ark, is it true that the last custody order from Oklahoma that involved Timothy?
Avery, yes. So I'm starting with this, and I'm not playing the full trial. We've already gone through some stuff. If you go back, right now she's on the stand, and then I'm going to do her sentencing, and then I'm going to do Paul's stuff, and then I'm going to go over her her new 2 hearings.
Indicated that you are only to be allowed supervised parenting time.
That is correct.
Now, Mr. Johnson was talked to you about the fact that after Adam had his stroke tragically in January and was out of the home, that was a significant financial hit for you. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And as a result of that, you didn't have a lot of income coming in. Were you working in Newaygo at that time?
I was, yes, sir.
So when you worked here, it was not a paid internship. You were working in Newaygo for paid internship at that time. Is that correct?
For a paid clerkship, yes, sir.
Right. Clerkship. And then what were your other sources of income at that time?
Which time?
Well, in January, right after the stroke.
Right after the stroke. The rental income that I received from my brother from Oklahoma, and then I was down to 1 dog training client.
Now, you're not suggesting to this jury that you couldn't afford to have food for your kids, are you?
No, sir.
In fact, we've seen the pictures, and you don't need me to show you the pictures of your freezer, your refrigerator, your pantry, all pretty well stocked with food. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, sir.
So there certainly was a financial ability for you to provide for your children, at least in a food sense, correct?
Yes, sir.
Hello, Junior. Yeah, I couldn't be there. I had a live yesterday, and so I was trying to prep for that. Good to see you. I hope that this is in the right order. Oh my goodness. They chopped this trial up so bad, you guys. I hope this is the right. Oh my God.
Bought food first.
And you're a highly intelligent woman, and I'm sure you're aware of multiple resources available in the community if that ever became an issue, right?
Yes, sir.
United Way, food pantries, anything of that nature, but you never felt the need to reach out to any of those resources, did you?
No, sir, because we had groceries covered.
You talked about, Mr. Johnson asked you about the motion sensors, and I'm not sure we got any real sense of clarity about the motion sensors. When we're talking about motion sensors, we're talking about ones that would not only go off if there was motion, that's what a motion sensor is, obviously, but would give some type of audio alarm, right?
Some of them did, yes, sir.
Did we watch this already?
And Tim had very sensitive hearing, didn't he?
I was not aware of that, no, sir. That's when Paul said that yesterday, that puzzled me.
You didn't know about that? You didn't know he had surgery to put tubes in his ears?
I was there.
Hi, Luna. Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in.
There for the surgery for his tubes, but no, I mean, it was, at least my experience with Timothy was half the time he didn't hear what you were saying. So,
did you know that he found it discomforting when those noises happened? Did you know that was, for lack of a better way of putting it, that was a punishment too for those noises to be going on?
no, sir, I did not.
Timothy was autistic, right? He was on the autism
Yes, sir, he was
spectrum.
on the spectrum.
Loud noises, disturbances, things like that. Those are troubling for folks with autism, aren't they?
For some of them, but he never, I mean, he liked to listen to his tablet extremely loud. And I remember, because little man, sorry, I'm trying not to say his name, when we'd have thunderstorms, sometimes it would freak him out, and things like that didn't bother Timothy at all. And Timothy sat with me, okay, go ahead and judge me or laugh at me, but before the PTSD, I used to when I watched college football, I would scream at the television every play, offense and defense. That's just who I am.
Girl, nobody cares about that. Continue.
And Timothy was right there with me hollering at the TV.
So the alarms didn't bother him at all?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, I mean, they bother people, probably everybody, but they didn't, he wasn't overly sensitive to it.
Right, because it begs the question, if the alarms don't bother.
He was absolutely sensitive to it. He had something going on. He had sensitive ears, and you had him covered in those things.
And what's the point in having them, right?
Yes, sir.
And they were there as a disincentive for him to do the things he wasn't supposed to do.
It was to let us know he was doing it too. Right. That way we knew what was going on.
But it was supposed to also be, you're not supposed to be doing this, and we know when you're going to be doing this, right?
It was so he knew we would be notified.
And the doing this that we're talking about is coming out of the basement area of the home, right?
Coming upstairs in the middle of the night, yes, sir.
Coming upstairs in the middle of the night?
Yes, sir.
So these would only be active at night?
I only turned them on at night, yes, sir.
So there's no text messages in there about turning on the motion sensor during the day so we can't come upstairs?
I mean, I don't recall it, but...
But you would, if those are in there, you would agree with me then that you were using the motion sensors to keep him downstairs even during the day, right?
I mean, if it happened occasionally,
Do you remember the text exchange about turning off the alarms so that he can go to the bathroom and then turning the alarms back on after he's done going to the bathroom? Do you remember those?
That was read the other day? Vaguely, yes, sir.
Well, I'm sure you remember them from being read the other day. Do you remember sending those text messages?
No, sir.
No memory of those text messages?
No, sir. And you're talking, are you talking motion sensor, or there was one?
I'm talking motion sensor right now.
Okay,
Lie detector test determined that was a lie.
A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
motion sensors are still, that's different. You're talking about it was actually for a bike alarm, like for somebody stealing a bike, I guess it was. And that was the one that you were referring to. The motion sensors that we've been talking about are posted in the house, and those didn't need to be turned on or off.
I see. So the motion sensor with the alarm was the one that was outside? Is that what you're saying? The motion sensor with the alarm, the one that makes noise, was not one that was in the house?
No, they were up on the stairs. There's a personal one that you could attach to whatever you wanted to.
Oh my God.
There's one of those, and then there were several on the stairs.
I see. Okay. And the purpose of the one on the stairs one was to make sure he didn't come upstairs?
In the middle of the night, yes, sir.
Right.
So, point of the story was there was too many damn motion detector sensor thingies around the house. Like, there were too many. If she can't figure it out, they can't figure it out. There were too many.
And the ones the ones that you could attach to a thing, you actually attached to a person, didn't you?
Occasionally, yes, sir.
Attached to a person. Him.
So,
Evil demon.
let's talk about the cameras then.
Yeah.
Well, I guess let me ask you this question. So the motion sensor goes off, the alarm goes off, maybe it doesn't go off, maybe it's not one of the ones that have an alarm on it. So what? How is that a deterrent, or how is that a punishment to Timothy?
That wasn't meant as a punishment. It was to let us know so we could go make sure that he was, he wasn't wandering around, he wasn't getting into taking batteries apart and messing with stuff that he shouldn't have been.
So you wanted to restrict his movements, and you wanted to know if he moved out of the basement area whenever the motion sensors were on.
Yes, sir.
And the cameras are, I think you testified that the camera, at least initially, you put the
Luna, pretty much.
camera in place in G's room to make sure that he wasn't running around without his clothes on, right?
Yes, sir. When he was a toddler, he would strip down.
How does putting a camera in his room to show him running around restrict him from doing that?
Well, it doesn't restrict it. It was to let us know that he was doing it.
And you have a problem with him running around?
He wasn't potty trained.
Wasn't potty trained, I see. But otherwise, if you're potty trained, it's okay to have your children running around naked?
No.
No. You wouldn't want to have a child running around your house naked, would you?
No.
You wouldn't want G to...
I'm still waiting on an answer from the parents out there. Who's feeding their 2-year-old hot Cheetos? Please explain to me what parents are out there feeding their 2-year-olds flaming hot Cheetos.
see his brother running around naked, would you?
No.
Then I'm wondering why the text message that you sent to Paul about Timothy making a mess in the garage was that he had to clean the garage without anything on below the waist, and then he could stand against the wall without anything below his waist.
I don't remember that, sir. I'm sorry.
You don't remember that text message?
No, sir.
Interesting. Take a look at, this is from the larger text messages. This is all the text messages between you and Paul. It's a few hundred, if not 1,000 pages. Take a look at, this is page 5783 if Mr. Johnson wants to reference. The blue is your text messages. Can you read that for the jury, please?
The blue one says, my bigger issue is that you said you checked every minute or so, but checking on the camera would have told you he wasn't listening. I'm not absolving him of responsibility by a long shot, but there are reasons the cameras are in place.
What time was that sent?
4:14 p.m. it looks like.
So at 4:14 p.m., you're upset with Paul because he's not watching Timothy every minute on the cameras, right?
If I remember correctly, that particular day, yeah, he said he was going to check. That wasn't, I didn't expect him to check every day, but there were days that were much more challenging, and that was when I asked him to keep a closer eye on.
Where's the text message that describes what the challenging incident was that day?
I don't know, sir. I mean, there was a lot of challenging incidents.
Going upstairs?
Look at her looking over at the jury like,
No, sir.
Going upstairs was okay during the day?
As long as he was being monitored, yes.
Why does he need to be monitored? Why can't he just be a kid and, rummage through the fridge? Because that's what kids do. They eat junk food and stuff like that. Like, I mean, not Flamin' Hot Cheetos when they're 2 years old, but at that time, Timothy wasn't 2 years old. Like, I honestly don't know what her end goal was, and I don't know why she was so shocked when what happened. Like, I honestly think that it was just a torture thing.
You talked about, we talked about the autism already. You talked about a number of other issues that Timothy had: bipolar, ADHD. Were there some other ones?
Sensory processing disorder.
Sensory process. So he had the same disorder that you did.
Yes.
The sensory processing disorder.
But there's different manifestations of it.
He had the one where his senses being overloaded didn't make a problem for him. Is that what you're saying?
He was more hyposensitive, which means he didn't react the way a typical person would, as far as less of a reaction. There was a time, I was told about it when we still lived in Oklahoma. I guess he was being given a bath and he fell and hit his jaw, and he didn't say anything. He didn't say he was in pain. Well, I guess he went to someone's bedroom, and my oldest son brought him back out, and he had completely bitten through his tongue and not said anything. So he did not react as much to stimuli as most people do. There's hypo and hypersensitive, and he was hyposensitive.
And is there medication for that you take?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't.
Do you go to counseling for you, or did you go to counseling for you?
Not for that.
Somebody look that up. See if there's medication for hyposensitive disorder. There's gotta be. It's 2026.
No, sir.
For any of your other issues, though?
I have over time. It's been a long time.
But in fact, the entire time Timothy was in the state of Michigan, you never took him to a counselor or a doctor to address any of those issues, did you?
No, sir, I didn't have the insurance information.
You didn't reach out to any resources in the community that might have been available to help, did you?
I did actually
Yes or no? Did you reach out to any resources
Yes.
in the community? Which ones?
I contacted DHHS about getting him on Medicaid, but they said that because he had other insurance, that would be primary, so we still had to have that information.
Did you reach out to Community Mental Health, or Health West, I guess it's called now?
All right, fair enough. There is no FDA-approved medication specifically to treat hyposensory processing disorder. Treatment focuses on non-pharmacological, well, whatever that word is. There are therapeutic approaches. There's no cure, like direct cure. So, all right.
I wasn't aware of it. I hadn't heard of Health West until I started working in the courthouse.
Right. You worked in this courthouse, in the county that you live in, for at least the entire summer, as I recall correctly. And you never knew that we had a mental health agency here in Muskegon County?
I didn't realize that's what it was for. I honestly, I didn't think about it. As far as resources go, the only thing that I thought about was DHHS for things like Medicaid and food stamps.
Nothing was Timothy's fault. None of this was his fault. He was just a kid.
Mr. Johnson asked you about the alarms on the doors, and your response to him was that the alarms went on the doors about 3 weeks before Timothy passed away. Is that correct?
Somewhere in there. I was approximating
Somewhere in
it.
there, okay.
You can look up the Amazon history on my phone.
Well, I'll do you one better than that.
Conditions.
This is page 3932 of the text messages from you. Could you go ahead and read that exchange for the jury and the date, please?
Did he say miraculously? No,
This is Paul's response now, right?
Yes. No, I was emphasizing because I turned on the alarm, yet he slipped past. That's not good. We need to put up the other 2 alarms tonight later on. That's the motion sensors.
But you referred to them as alarms.
Yes, sir, I did.
Right. And that was
That's what we called them. That was February.
February.
That was motion sensors.
Right. Months before he died.
Yes, sir.
You just mixed up what an alarm and what a motion sensor is?
Yes, sir. That's what I called them alarms. I didn't call them motion sensors most of the time.
This one's a little bit longer exchange, but if you could read 3996 for me, please.
Just this page?
Nope, the whole thing that's stapled, please.
Is it snowing at home currently? KK, Timothy apparently ate my Pop-Tarts a few days back. Not anymore. Are you kidding me? When did he do that? He said he doesn't know the exact day. That's a bunch of BS, and how did he do it? Did he sneak down to the bathroom? He says it was before we had the other alarms. I said that's not true because we've had those for over a week now. And you had Pop-Tarts in that box as of this past weekend or Friday at the very latest. That's still the motion sensors.
Okay,
That's
so
what I
again,
call them.
you refer to the motion sensors as
Yes,
alarms
sir.
there. And you're upset at that point because Timothy's eating some Pop-Tarts. Is that my understanding of this text messages?
In that case, because he stole them, Paul had gotten them for himself and because he stole them.
You can't steal food from your own house. Woman. She's not a woman. She's a demon. Sadly, sneaking a Pop-Tart was one of the high points of this poor kid's life. Right. Like, jeez. So he stole the crust of a burger, which he was made to throw up, and he stole some Pop-Tarts. Well, when you're starving somebody, their body's telling them food. Yeah, they're gonna get food, but it's not stealing when it's in your own house. That's ridiculous. What the hell kind of thought process is that?
And that date, I don't know if we read it or not, but you would agree with me that it's on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2022, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I hope
Now, why don't you take a look at 3702. Crossed out the parts that it's not really necessary for you to read, and just go ahead and tell the jury that date and what's on there.
The date is January 24th. Okay. Did Timothy have to wash his sheets? Question mark. Yes. I said, ugh, okay, pretty sure that is him pouting over the extra camera and motion sensors.
So, and that was in January of 2022, correct?
Yes,
so
sir.
no problem referring to it to a motion sensor in January of 2022, but suddenly, come February, you mix up what an alarm and what a motion detector are.
Yes, sir.
Correct?
Yes, sir. Like I said, you can check the Amazon history.
You don't want to revise your testimony about when it was that you started using alarms on the doors?
No, sir, because it's in my Amazon history when I purchased those.
Mr. Johnson asked you about Timothy being on medication for a lot of his issues, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think you said that when he came to you, he was like a zombie, right?
Yes, sir.
So you decided to take him off those medications, didn't you?
No, sir, we couldn't get refills. We had to get a refill through a doctor, and we didn't have a doctor.
So your testimony wasn't that you took him off those medications?
I said that I wanted to.
So you didn't have a doctor. You couldn't get a doctor? I have a primary care physician. It's not that hard to get a doctor. I mean, you might not be able to afford it, but your kid needs medical care.
You wanted to.
Yes, sir. At least some of them, because they were, I mean, he was a zombie. It was horrible.
You wanted to take him off the medications, and it happened anyway because you can get refills for him. So you're actually happy that that happened.
Not the way it happened, but he wasn't a zombie afterwards.
But you definitely did not consult with the doctor before you did that.
No, sir, because we ran out.
But and again, didn't reach out to any, besides DHHS, didn't reach out to any resources in the community that might have helped you out with the child with.
You know how dangerous that is? So she ran out, so she just stopped giving it to him. She didn't bother to refill it. She didn't. This woman.
Such severe emotional issues that you have to use motion sensors and later alarms and locks on things. You didn't reach out for any resources before you just decided to stop him taking medication.
Before he ran out, I wasn't aware of. Like I said, DHHS is pretty much the main resource that I was aware of.
Did you ever talk to somebody and say, look, I'm at my wit's end here. I reach out to resources and talk to the judge that you were clerking for. Say, what can I do to get some help here? Did you ever do any of that?
I talked to some friends at work.
And
But I didn't ask.
Up with an idea?
I didn't ask for resources. I just vented to them, and nobody suggested anything. I didn't ask.
It's rather unusual the way this question was answered by you. She said there was one time that your mother-in-law saw Timothy.
Yes, sir.
One time?
Yes, sir.
Just the once?
After the stroke, yes, sir.
Just once in 6 months was the only time?
As far as I remember, yes, sir. That's what I believe.
In fact, you went to great lengths to make sure that the grandmother, that's Grammy, that's the person you referred to as Grammy, right? Your mother-in-law. You went to great lengths to make sure that she wasn't allowed in your home, didn't you?
I mean, that was just because the house was a mess.
Did you have some type of tracking device on her to know where she was?
We had her phone under our phone plan, so I could look up find my iPhone. Because usually when she was, that way Paul wanted to know when she was coming to get Gabriel. Oh, gee, sorry.
Let me show you what's page 4284.
And I was muted. I said what she was doing was seeing when she was coming over so she could hide Timothy so that the grandma couldn't see Timothy. That's exactly what she was doing. She wanted to hide him so no one could ever see him. It wasn't about, oh, I wanted to see when she was coming to pick up G. Okay, no, I know exactly what you were doing.
This is a lengthy exchange, but go ahead and read that for the jury. It's from, I believe, March 28th.
Soot. Stupid thing writing on my watch. That should have said good. Grammy left home about 10 minutes ago. Hopefully she will not beat me there this time, but please have him ready to go. And please keep a very close eye on your messages. I will track her on the app as I head home. Hey, I need to make sure you're seeing these messages. And please make sure his new shoes are on him. Okay, thank you. And do not let Grammy inside.
Exclamation point.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Okay, she will probably beat me there, but not by more than a couple minutes.
Do not let grandmother inside. It has nothing to do with what that house looks like. She doesn't want her to see Timothy.
You get clothes on too, please. Okay, go ahead and take Gabriel outside and sit Timothy down to stand up against the wall downstairs. It says create the puppy too, but OL and then okay. She should be pulling up pretty soon. Okay, I got it. I'm glad you got it, but you better be outside. He is outside. Do you want to say goodbye?
That's Paul's response back to you, right?
Yes. And I said, yes, I do. I'll be there in just a minute. Headed to the car now. How's it going there? He said, good. Already taped the coat rack.
I think you can stop there. So you're tracking her movements on your phone as you're driving home?
At stoplights, yes, sir.
because you're worried that she's going to see a messy house.
Yes, sir.
And the solution to that is put Gabriel outside so that he's outside when she gets there, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I misspoke. That was March 8th, right?
Yes,
So rather than his grandmother come into the house, even the entryway of the house, in the middle of winter, not middle of winter, on March 8th, your solution was put Gabriel outside, make sure she doesn't come in. Do not let her in the house.
Paul was outside with him.
Exclamation point.
I've never put him outside by himself. Paul was outside with him.
4044.
Again with the muting. I think I'm gonna end this for today because there's still half of this left, and then there's the 14-minute end of where she starts fake puking. So I might save this for next time and like try to maybe finish off the rest. So yeah, I think that might be it for us today because we've gone, it's 2 hours and 25 minutes. I'll let it run until we hit the 2-hour, 30-minute mark.
Please also have some decent clothes on in case I need you to bring a little man out. I'm hoping Grammy does not beat me there. It looks like it will be close. He said, okay. Said, I will tell you when to take him outside to wait for her. Just please make sure she doesn't leave until after I get there. I haven't been away from Gabriel at night since this all started, and I wanted to give him a hug and kiss before he goes. Okay. Go ahead and go outside and wait for her. It shouldn't be more than a few minutes before she gets there. Just please don't let her leave until after I get there. She is almost there. Are y'all outside? I would like a response to that message. Question mark. You might need to make Timothy stand with his nose, it says of, against the front door on the inside. Please tell me that you and the child are outside. Seriously, no response.
Oh,
I'm almost there and I'm
Junior.
more than a little
This
upset
is
at the moment.
2022.
You're upset because at that point you don't know
Yes,
whether or not
me.
she's going to come into the house, aren't you?
I was upset because I wasn't getting a
Yeah.
response. That drives me crazy. It's a pet peeve. I hate not getting a response via text message.
Right, so you better have my child standing outside so his grandmother doesn't go inside, and oh, by the way, put my other child up against the front door with his nose against the wall, right?
Because he was in trouble for something. I mean, I don't know what happened before that exchange.
What would he do to get punished to have him make sure he's standing against the wall with his nose against the door?
That was one of the punishments. We'd make him stand against the wall with his nose. And the reason I had it against the door is because I didn't want him getting into anything. That way Paul had a better ability to monitor him.
41.
With his nose? Come on.
23.
All right. I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to write down where I've stopped it. That way I can remember for next time. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you so much. So, okay, I wrote that down. All right. So, thank you so much, Kelkel. And thank you all for being here. You're welcome, Mark. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing anything next week. I think I'm gonna take a little breaky break because I've been at it for nonstop for a while now. So, but I will, after that, I will be coming back and we will continue this. And I think that's pretty much all. Oops, I've got, hold on.
Remember, we're not taking younger sons.
Yes.
Big
When you
and remove that. Still trying to figure all this out, but yeah. And then we'll get back into it. So I hope you all have a great, what's today? Monday. Have a great week. And if y'all saw the Keep Sweet and Obey documentary on Netflix, the new one, Trust Me, The False Prophet, is so good. It's really good. So you're very welcome. Yeah, every Sunday if I have something, but usually definitely every Monday, but this next week I'm taking a break. So it was good to see everybody. Thank you all for being here. Bye.
So long for now and goodbye. We'll see you